Have you ever been in that spot, where you really want to say something? The thought's right there.
Yeah.
But you just kind of freeze up.
Yeah.
That worry about messing it up.
Absolutely.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. That feeling specifically when it comes to speaking English.
Yeah, it's a pretty universal hurdle. And if you've ever felt that like little jolt of anxiety
Oh, yeah.
right before speaking English, you're definitely not alone.
Not alone at all. And to really break this down, we've got this awesome conversation to work with. It's called How to Overcome the Fear of Speaking English, a conversation between a boy and a girl.
I love this one.
It's really cool. It's his back and forth between Arav, who is dealing with this fear, and his friend Priya, who has some really solid advice from her own experience.
I think what makes this dialogue so powerful is that Arav's anxieties and Priya's advice, they just feel so relatable.
Yeah.
Like you're listening in on a conversation so many of us have had or wish we had.
Totally. So what we're going to do today is pull out the most useful stuff from this conversation. The kind of tips that you listening can actually use to start feeling more confident. Not just with English, but anytime that fear of speaking up tries to creep in.
It's like a cheat sheet to understanding some of the psychology behind this, all wrapped up in a really encouraging story.
Love that. So let's meet our conversationalists. First up, we've got our Grayev. He's described as smart and capable, but shyness and that fear of making mistakes. It really holds him back.
Right, and it's that feeling of pressure that really gets to him.
And then there's Priya. She's the confident friend. But what I really appreciate is that her confidence doesn't come across as this like natural thing you're just born with.
Yeah, she's earned it.
She's been there too.
Exactly. Which makes her advice so much more powerful.
For sure. So right away, Arav talks about this experience that kind of kicked off his anxiety. He was in this office meeting and said, he's do this every day.
Oh, I can feel that cringe.
And he talks about those looks. He got that correction. It's that fear of judgment becoming reality. At least it feels that way.
It shows how even a little grammar slip can feel so huge when you're already self-conscious.
Totally.
And that feeling of being under a microscope, even if it's mostly in your own head, it can be so discouraging.
But Priya steps in right away and normalizes this.
I love that.
She doesn't dismiss his embarrassment. Instead, she's like, hey, I've messed up too. She admits to saying she go to college every day.
It's so simple but powerful.
Right.
So powerful is knowing you're not alone in this.
Exactly. And then she goes straight for the biggest hurdle, that fear of being judged, maybe even laughed at.
Oh, that's a deep one.
It's like a universal fear.
It is. It's about wanting to fit in, to be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
The thought of being made fun of for something as basic as how you talk can feel so threatening.
And Priya flips the script. She asks Arav, would you laugh at someone speaking broken Hindi or your native language?
It was smart.
Of course, he's like, no way I'd try to help.
Such a good point.
It makes you think about how we naturally have empathy for language learners.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't people extend that same understanding to us?
Right. It's reminding us that most people are actually focused on understanding each other, not picking apart grammar.
And Priya make this great point, the opinions of people who would laugh, they just don't matter.
The key here is reframing judgment. We have to remind ourselves of our own empathy for language learners.
So true.
Because a lot of this fear is coming from inside.
Yeah.
By changing how we think others see us, we can start to calm that anxiety down.
Now, Arav brings up this other big obstacle. He feels like he needs to be perfect before he even opens his mouth.
Oh, the perfection trap.
It's that all or nothing thinking that keeps so many of us stuck.
Yeah, it's basically procrastination fueled by anxiety. The standards set so high, flawless, that you never even start.
Priya calls it out the perfection trap, and what I love is that she shifts the focus. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress, those small wins over time.
Because perfection's a destination you might never reach, but progress is a journey with milestones you can celebrate
Exactly.
as you go.
And she gives some great tips for building confidence, like using affirmations. I am learning. I am improving.
Yes.
And the most important one, it's okay to make mistakes. Just giving yourself permission to be imperfect is so freeing.
Psychologically, these positive statements, they help fight those negative thoughts that feed anxiety.
And then she gets super practical. She's like, start small with short, easy sentences.
Love it.
And she gives examples. I go to work every day. She is my friend. Can you help me?
They're so manageable.
They feel doable.
Exactly. It's about building on small wins.
Yeah.
Each little success chips away at that wall of fear.
So the big takeaway here is to embrace imperfection.
Yeah.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those small steps are how you build real confidence.
It's like learning anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't expect to play a concerto on your first piano lesson.
Right.
Language is the same. Start with the basics.
Later on, Arav brings up what he calls vocabulary block. You know that moment when your mind just goes blank?
The worst.
You can't find the right word?
Happens to everyone, I think.
It's so frustrating.
It is. It makes you feel so inadequate.
And Priya's advice is so simplify.
Keep it clear.
Yeah, she's like, you don't need fancy words to communicate.
It's so true. People get caught up in trying to sound smart.
Right.
But clear, concise language is way more effective.
She uses this great example. He works very hard versus he's very diligent and meticulous. Same, meaning less pressure.
Reframing fluency. Not about knowing every word.
Yeah.
It's about conveying your ideas with what you've got.
So if you hit that vocabulary wall, don't panic. Just find a simpler way to say it.
Sometimes you just gotta paraphrase.
Mm-hmm.
Describe what you mean.
And the meaning gets across.
Exactly. Clarity over complexity.
Okay, so we see this fear of judgment pop up again. A bit later in a conversation between Priya and another character, Raj.
Showing us how common this fear really is.
It's not just Arab, it's everywhere.
For so many language learners.
And Priya emphasizes again that she wouldn't laugh at someone for speaking incorrectly.
It's that reassurance. Mistakes are normal. It's part of learning.
And this leads into some seriously practical advice from Priya for building confidence. The first one, start with simple sentences. We saw this with Arab, but now she's working with Raj directly. He says, I waked up at 7 a.m.
So close.
And she gently corrects him. I woke up. But it's positive. It's a learning moment.
It's that gentle correction, not criticism.
Yeah.
Guiding him without making him feel bad.
And it shows that even these tiny interactions are chances to learn and grow.
Absolutely.
Another tip she gives, speak without being scared of grammar.
Yes.
She uses this example. I know like this food.
Perfect.
It might not be perfect grammar.
Nope.
But you get the point.
Communication is key.
And she encourages practicing by yourself. Talk to yourself in the mirror.
In private.
Yeah, say your daily routine out loud.
It's low pressure.
No judgment.
Just getting comfortable with speaking.
You can even record yourself, hear how you sound.
Pick up on things you might not notice otherwise.
And this next one is so important. Learn from your mistakes.
Don't let them scare you.
She tells this funny story about saying her dad was giving birth to biryani.
Instead of cooking it.
Yeah, a classic slip up. But it's funny. It's a learning experience.
Sharing those moments makes it feel normal.
For everyone.
Exactly.
And she encourages immersing yourself in English every day. Listen to music podcasts, audiobooks, read, watch movies.
Constant exposure.
Yeah.
It helps your brain get used to the sounds, the rhythms.
She suggests starting with subtitles, simpler things like Friends or Modern Family, or even children's stories.
Easy to follow.
To build up that comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
She also says to use English in real life order, food, ask for directions. Those small interactions are huge.
They get you using the language out in the world.
And Priya gives some useful phrases for when someone's talking too fast, like, sorry, could you repeat that slowly?
So polite.
And it shows that you're trying.
Yeah.
Another great tip, learn phrases, not just words.
Don't just memorize single words.
Mm-hmm.
Learn them in context in chunks.
Like, could you please help me? Or, can you say that again?
Those pre-made phrases make speaking so much smoother
It's less work for your brain.
and less hesitation.
And then she encourages trying harder things, like those tricky conditional sentences.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah, her example is, if I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam with distinction. It might sound tough.
But it's about stretching your brain.
Making use to those complex patterns.
And even if you don't get it perfect right away,
The trying is what matters.
you're building those connections.
And Priya stresses being patient and consistent. Language learning takes time.
Time and practice.
Setting realistic goals, even just practicing 20 minutes a day. That consistency is key,
It's a marathon.
not a sprint.
Regular short practice is more effective than one big cram session.
Makes sense.
It keeps everything fresh.
And lastly, she recommends checking out apps and tools like ChatGPT, YouTube, Duolingo, Cambly
So many resources out there.
to supplement your practice.
They could make learning more fun
Yeah.
and tailored to what you need.
Towards the end of their conversation, there's this great turning point. Raj starts feeling way better after Priya's advice
It's the power of encouragement.
and practical guidance.
Once you start to feel more confident, those practical steps feel so much easier.
And Priya emphasizes that fear goes down when you take action.
Less thinking, more doing.
Yeah, and confidence doesn't come from being perfect.
It's from the process.
Speaking, practicing, improving over time.
The more you do it,
The better you get.
and the more confident you become.
Exactly, it's a cycle.
It keeps you going.
And Raj decides right then to start talking to himself in English.
That commitment to action is huge
It's that first step.
towards overcoming that fear.
So to sum it all up, Priya's advice is about focusing on communication, not perfection. Mistakes are part of the journey.
Embrace them.
Practice consistently in all sorts of ways and be patient with yourself.
It's a long game.
And remember that fear is totally normal and there are things you can do to overcome it.
Priya's conversation is a great guide.
So our final thought for you today. Think about one small step you can take right now to push past a little bit of that fear. Maybe try thinking a sentence in English.
Or reading a headline.
What's one sentence you could say out loud right now, even just to yourself?
That little act of courage can be the start of something big.
On that note, echoing Priya's last words to Raj, you're welcome, future fluent speaker.
Future fluent speaker.
I love it.
Me too.
All right, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. I can't wait for next time.
Yeah.